They also gave you a jet ski.
They didn't give you a jet ski.
They gave you a jet ski.
That's not one of your weapons or abilities. You've got like Mega Buster and this and a jet ski. Welcome to New Game Plus. This is a retro gaming podcast where three guys spend 7 days playing one old game and then we talk about it. My name's Dustin.
My name is Kenny.
Nolan.
And this is episode 356. It is the week of Thanksgiving here in the States, a time to be thankful. And so, I have two questions as we start this lovely podcast today.
That's
Number one, what is a video game that you are thankful for? And then we'll get to number two after we answer number one.
Oh, come on now.
What is a video game you're thankful for? I will start because I didn't prep you with this one.
Sure.
And then you can go. I'm going to say Hades.
Why? Oh, I know why.
Specifically because, well, alone, it's amazing,
Sure.
right? But the most fun I've had gaming with y'all in recent years has been due to Hades. And it's been a while. We haven't played it recently, but I still think back and, I mean, just doing runs with y'all like that, that's not how people actually play games, but that's how we did those couple weeks.
That is the best way to experience that game, and people just don't know it. It's
it
so
was
fun.
so much fun.
It is a multiplayer experience, or you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Anytime y'all would get on and I didn't have to think about what runs to do and y'all would tell me exactly.
We'd be like, all right, I've got a build for you. Trust me. Pick that one. Pick that one. And you'd be like, are you sure? And mine would always win. Kenny's would.
Kenny's were experimental.
Okay.
Yeah, they were
That's
experimental.
not what happened.
That was true.
Hey, you remember when Kenny had played for like years or months and had not beaten Hades or something? Is that true?
Okay.
No,
Just because you were freakishly good at that game doesn't mean I was bad at it. I'm probably about average.
Okay.
For most people in that game.
That was funny. All right.
Let's call it BioShock for me.
Ooh, is this a wife thing?
Yeah, well, yeah, but I'd played it before. I had played it with my wife, and that experience was one of the first games that I was like, man, this transports you. This story is insanity. I didn't know games could be this. And there are a lot of games like that now that I could name, even retro games, right? But man, that one's just such a standout. And then, we played through the whole series, me and my wife, and it was great.
Nolan, I put a poll on our socials this week. It was which is better, and it had an image of BioShock and it had an image of Mass Effect.
Oh, I voted.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I voted for BioShock all day.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Come on. I mean, Mass Effect's great, but come on.
Absolutely. Okay. Kenny?
Slay the Spire.
Okay.
It's absolutely my game.
And why are you thankful for it?
I am thankful for it because for the majority of this year, probably majority of this year, that has been our, play it together in bed.
Interesting.
While we're falling asleep game.
That one?
Really? And by we, he's not talking about the three of us. He's talking about him and his wife, I think.
Right. No, not you guys. You guys weren't invited to cuddle up next to me in bed.
Really? I didn't know that. Did you know him?
No, I didn't. So is your wife better at you than that game? At that game?
Well, by play together, I mean I play and she watches and listens to the music and occasionally will help me make a decision when I don't know what to decide. And she just does it based on the look of the art or something arbitrary.
Yes, she's better than him.
That's what he's saying.
Basically,
it's a low bar.
Okay, great. That was question number one. Question number two is one that I don't know that we've done before. Who is someone in the NGP community that you are thankful for, and why?
Spreading the love.
We are, a community-centric podcast. We are the only positive place for gamers on the internet. Should that be our slogan?
It should be.
And so wanted to take a few moments and be extra thankful. Spread the love. Let's begin with Kenny this time.
Yeah, so we've asked this before, and I've pulled out people that are kind of expected. We appreciate the team that works with us and all of those people. We appreciate our community and Discord, and I'm not trying to steal some of y'all's answers, but I thought it'd be fun to give somebody a little bit of a different shout out. And so I wanted to shout out a big thank you this year to the little guys. every week I come on and I thank our producer level supporters, our directors, but we've also got a whole bunch of patrons who just support us at like $1 or $5 or whatever it is that's comfortable for them. And we love those guys too. Yeah. There's way too many of them to list. And so in the spirit of the podcast, I thought I would randomly select one.
Nice.
And then shout out that person as a representative thank you to all of the little guys out there. So Caden, this goes out to you. Thank you. And to all the other Cadens who aren't Caden, but who support us and don't normally get called out.
Caden's doesn't listen anymore. He forgot he had that subscription.
He turned autopay on 2 years ago and swore off retro gaming.
Once Caden's mom's credit card expires, he'll no longer support us. But
no, we love our $5 tiers. It makes the Patreon pools amazing.
And our $1 tier, which Caden was from?
All of the tiers.
All right, Nolan, before you get us in trouble, who are you thankful for?
Okay. I am especially thankful for this community member because she always is there. And so when new people join, she's there to help welcome them. When veterans are having a chat about something very niche that no one else knows about, she will. And she also is a moderator in Discord, which is such a big ask of someone, and we felt weird about asking anyone to do that for us, but it's been so helpful. And so I'm thankful for Epic Dom in Discord. Dominic has also created our recent shirt artwork that is so amazing. So thanks, Dom.
Thanks, Dom. And some of you would know because she's posted some, but this year has not been easy for her family. She shared some of those things, yet she's been consistent, been around, always been light, in our community. So I definitely have to agree with that one. And then I've got a few here. I'm going to go with Super Gamer Guy, and this is why. Super Gamer Guy will write in from time to time commentary. Super Gamer Guy will do some of those things, but something that nobody knows is that when we've been putting together playlists for our YouTube channel.
Yes.
And it's been a little bit, but the PlayStation ones and others, Super Gamer Guy has been probably the person that has helped me most in collecting some of the tracks to be used for those playlists.
That's huge.
In fact, I've got sitting in a channel somewhere a whole list of GameCube songs that Super Gamer Guy thinks would be good for a GameCube list.
Wait, what people don't understand though, as someone who has made two of those, finding the tracks is so painful and the majority of the work. So that is amazing.
Right. And not only found him himself, but started a little thread in Discord and invited a few other key players in to submit some games too.
I love that.
Been super helpful. Yeah.
Thanks, Super.
So Super Gamer Guy, Dom, and Caden.
Living up to his name.
Nice. And Caden, thank you so much. We're incredibly grateful for our entire community, particularly these three this year. We hands down have the best community around. Some would even say you cannot beat the NGP community.
Sure.
Beat is okay. And like in our retro game of the week, Mega Man 5.
Overview.
Mega Man 5 is the fifth title in the Mega Man series. It was developed and published by Capcom in 1992. And we need to take a moment to just recap the show's history with classic Mega Man.
We've done two of them?
We have done two of them. Early on the show. Early.
First
two?
5.
Yeah, first 5 episodes.
Yeah,
we did
2. I think you're right,
I think it is
2.
We played Mega Man 2. And all 3... Well, Kenny, I think. But we all loved it so much. And it was great because I was concerned about these two because it is Mega Man. We often say Mega Man hard when we talk about a game. And it's because NES Mega Man is extremely difficult sometimes, but the soundtrack, everything's so good. Fast forward a lot of it, and we play Mega Man 3, And by this time, we have a community, and they're invested, and they are so excited because we love 2, and everyone's like 3 is so good, it's even better maybe. And then we get to the rating of that episode, and I'm the only one that gives it a Game Plus.
Yeah.
And people in our community are still really pissed about it, and I find that so funny.
Okay, so we have been a podcast for 7 years now, and on episode 5, a long time ago, back in 2015, we played and reviewed Mega Man 2, so it was episode 5.
Okay.
And then 5 years ago, that's a long time,
Dude.
like way after the start of our show,
What's with
but
all
5
the
years
fives?
ago, on episode 110, we played Mega Man 3.
Was that a... Do you know if that was Patreon poll or not? You probably don't know that.
It doesn't say, and
Okay,
I
I
don't
don't
know
think
if
it
by this
was.
time I was marking it. I think it was a random one.
I do too. So yeah, there's some history here, and there's people are anticipating, and I'm very curious how this is going to play out. But we're back with classic Mega Man with the 5th title. What, Kenny?
I'm a little mad we skipped 4. What's that about?
Yeah, I have 2 kind of. Okay, I've never played 5. I've never played 4, so I'm also a little salty that we skipped 4. But I'm
Yeah,
just
we had a trend going.
Yes.
Like 2, 3,
we skipped 1 though.
4. Well, yeah, no one cares about 1.
I'm just nervous that I'm gonna be missing some of the major story elements.
Oh really? Well,
No,
actually,
not
this
really.
He's being facetious.
Well, no-
he thinks
no, I
there's
know
no
he
good
is.
story here, but it's
There's
rich.
not.
There's rich
No,
lore.
I know he's being facetious, but this one
However-
continues the story of 4.
Well, this one's the first one with like I believe this is the first one with like cutscene. I
Yeah,
didn't even pluralize it. I think there's one
or less.
like,
Yeah.
you know, with the it's a little bit more story rich in this one than its predecessors.
Yes. And the story goes that, like, after the events of 4, which again we haven't played, so we don't know. I'm just assuming Mega Man wins, Wily loses, but gets away. Okay, so
That's gotta be.
now
Big assumption.
we have Proto Man, Mega Man's brother. So Dr. Light created Mega Man. Dr. Light also created Proto Man, and he's kind of like the anti-hero guy throughout the series. Like, he's cool. He's got a scarf, and
And a whistle.
he has a cool whistle. He has a cool WWE intro song. But he is leading a pack of robots, the bad guy robots this time, and we're like, why, dude? You can't betray us like that. So then now, he also kidnaps Dr. Light and threatens to kill him. So now Mega Man has to save Dr. Light, figure out why Proto Man's pissed, and probably Dr. Wily will show up. Maybe.
It's a big assumption.
Stop saying that.
Gameplay.
Mega Man 5 is immediately more accessible than Mega Man 3.
Why?
I'm just gonna start hot out of the bag. Listen, this is gonna be a slightly odd podcast because I think most time online when people are reviewing or talking about Mega Man games, they're doing them in light of the other Mega Man games. We will do that some, I think, but only with the ones that we played on the podcast, although we might make references to others. The reason why I'm specifying there is because 5 and 4 are very similar. A lot of the
4?
Yes, a lot
Oh.
of the quote unquote new things in 5 were actually new in 4, and then they were just brought over to 5.
That's actually good to know because I have a lot of those to talk about
Right.
in my notes here. So, okay, got it.
So our last experience was actually Mega Man 3, so this is a huge evolution for Mega Man 3. There like a lot of changes, but those actually started in 4. So I just wanted to specify that up front, that we will be making some comparisons, but not how other people do, and saying
Sure.
like when they're usually talking about 5, they're talking about it in light of 4 or really in the shadow of 4. And so we're not
Okay.
going to be doing that.
What does
Yeah.
accessibility mean here to you? Because I kind of know what you mean, but I kind of don't.
I'll say 2 or 3 things without much elucidation.
What does that mean?
Okay.
One is the difficulty is a lot lower than Mega Man 3, for example.
Sure.
Okay. Two, Mega Man has always been remarkably good, like from the start, has been remarkably good at the tightness of button inputs, and the platforming has been supreme, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much all the way through the classic series.
Basic, but good.
But I feel like it's even more here. I felt in tune with my Mega Man from the very beginning.
Okay.
And I've already elucidated too much there.
Yeah, thank you for that explanation. That makes something clear.
I
appreciate that.
Dictionary.com.
And I'll agree with you.
Googled it.
I will agree with you. I kind of noticed that too, but I also, again, referencing the ones that we've played, those also felt tight. And so I think they're easy to pick up, but those are also easy to pick up. But this one does feel like a complete package. Like you've got all the... Okay, Kenny's going to explode.
No, I'm not. We're already so in the weeds.
No
comparing
weeds.
these. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No weeds. Let's step
we're
back
not in the weeds.
and
we're not weeding.
We
it.
are a little bit.
Kenny's got a
Let's
weed
step
eater.
back. This is the classic NES Mega Man formula.
Yes, of course.
Right? So if somebody didn't play along with us or needs to understand what this game is, it is that absolute thing that has worked that they're doing again, for better or worse, where you jump in, you're going to have eight
Yes.
very unique bosses. You're going to have the normal rock, paper, scissors mechanic. You're going to have that normal decision of kind of which bosses to do in what order. And outside of that, a couple of evolutions in gameplay. But you're right, Dustin. Most of those came the game before. Even the things that feel new, like the charge up Buster Shot,
the Mega
Buster.
Buster.
the Mega Buster. Yeah, even that is a little different, and that it's like slightly larger, but it's not actually that
that's
different
huge.
at all. It's massive. I love it.
It's vital, yeah.
But from Mega Man 3, are you following me
Yes.
here? From Mega Man 3, we've got a lot of evolution here.
There's a lot of differences.
We've got the Mega Buster, the slide. I think the slide changes things drastically. The slide was in 4. Was it also in 3? Was 3 the first time the
think
slide was
so.
there? I think you're right. It might have been there.
Yeah, I think
but
so.
I think I had a problem with it in Mega Man 3.
It's probably slower, just
and-
because they didn't know how to do it yet.
I think 3 was the first for the slide and for Rush, but I think in again, may have happened in 4, but in 5 there's some perfection here. That slide feels so much more natural. It doesn't feel like you have to be, it just feels so right. And in 3 I remember, and again, maybe going back to 3 now, 5 years later, I will have been able to master that, because I remember being so fed up that if you don't get the slide right in 3, you cannot beat the game. Like, that game,
there's a lot of dodging that's definitely
bosses
necessary.
are dependent on that. And maybe here too,
Here
but it
too.
just felt so natural in this one.
Yeah, and also on the note of the slide, I do think they were better about stage design too. Just as the games go on, the stages here did feel very well laid out, in the sense like you'll slide. There's some ledges that you can't get to unless you slide off of the platform that's above it and across a pit. If you try to jump it, which it feels like you can, you're going to fall into the spikes. So like that kind of stuff, which y'all probably think that's annoying, but the stage design did feel on point, and it did feel like Mega Man was just like at home with the slide, the jump control, the air movement was there. All that felt natural, like, just migrated over from 2 and 3 to me.
Mega Man 4, talking about it a lot, had things that Mega Man 5 also had. So Mega Man 5 didn't originate the slide, the charge shot, the rush coil, or the rush jet. All of those were carryovers from 4. What we left behind was Rush Submarine. What is that one called? There's
Rush Submarine.
I don't know if it is, but there was one. It might be. There was one where Rush was underwater, but they don't need that any. Rush Marine, I think it was just that.
Yeah.
And because if they just allowed you to use Rush Jet underwater, which serves the same purpose. And Rush Coil does operate differently, though. By the way, Rush, for those of you that don't know, is your little dog companion that is a red dog robot that in Rush Coil becomes a trampoline, but this one is not really a trampoline.
Yeah.
It was in the previous game. This one actually jumps with you, which is awkward at first, but once you figure it out, it's kind of easy.
Yeah, the utility skill in Mega Man has always been kind of a weird one for me. I use them as convenience, like if I want to skip a large part of the room and just grab the ladder at the top. I don't find myself going to Rush often because then you also have to manage energy on that ability, and I don't know. I usually stick to basic Mega Man until I get to the boss fight. And I know that a lot of people play the game differently. Some people play with the powers throughout the stage, and they use Rush often, but I'm basic Mega Man for the most part.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Although I think there's arguments for sort of this design kind of keeping in mind the need to use those evolutions on the bosses.
I will use my abilities a lot more on the stages once we get to Super Nintendo, because I won't have to go into my menu every single time I want to switch between
That bothered
them.
you again?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not that bad.
It's an annoyance, but it's not
Maybe that's why I don't do it.
Game-breaking for me.
You know what's super annoying is that when I'm trying to do it very quickly, there were a few times where I used one of my energy tanks, my E-tanks, to refill my health instead of switching.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's on you.
So that was frustrating.
I'd bet you were salty about that.
While we're talking about other things or changes and new things, have you always been able to hit continue at the end of a stage after you beat it?
And
you
do the stage again?
You beat the boss. You hit continue. It takes you back into that same stage, and you can farm like lives and energy and stuff. And then when you get to the boss room, he's not there. The stage
He's not
ends.
there, and stage ends.
Am I crazy?
I've never seen that before, and I'm glad they did it because I thought, I'm a completionist, and I hope y'all did this as well.
Yeah.
But on each stage, you can collect a letter
Collectibles
that spells out Mega Man V.
I think that's the reason they did it, even more than anything else, is to, if you missed it, allow you to go back and still get it.
Good. Because I never missed them, but it's nice to have it there. I did it.
At first, on the water stage, I thought that I was screwed. That if I missed one letter on the water stage and thought that, I can never fill out Mega Man V the rest of the game. But then I found out later, if you click continue, which doesn't necessarily make sense. I should have selected a different word. It starts the stage over immediately.
And honestly...
the word repeat exists.
Something, or elucidate.
Anything. Well, it defaults to... main menu, which to me also feels like quit.
You're right.
Neither
of those are right.
But if you go back into that stage after you beat it, you can kind of pop off. Like you know the stage, you know the patterns, and you can get lives. I liked that a lot, and I was like, man, I got to beat this boss again. I know I can do it, but you didn't have to, and I loved that.
Well, and can we just? I think that's another way that this game was a lot more forgiving than some of the past Mega Man games, including Mega Man 2.
Yeah.
Not only do I feel like it was designed more easier, and we'll talk about that even with the bosses, but I feel like with that ability to repeat a stage and get some more E-tanks or whatever, I think with the addition, this is the first time it was added here, was the come on, it's in my notes. Sometimes I just lose notes because I take so many notes.
Sure.
Was the M-tank. Which refills everything. And you can only carry one at a time, but once you use it and are back to zero, then they'll show up on stages again.
Yeah.
And so I think manageable enemy patterns, for the most part, there were a few that drove me nuts. Or there's one, I think, on the Crystal Man stage where you had these dropping crystals from stalactites or whatever, and they're not like patterned. And so if they can hit you and fall down. So some of that was bad, but like I think they were generous with health drops. I think from being able to continue the stage and stack up, generous with lives.
I noticed that big time.
Do you know my favorite drop ever is the big health refill? What are those called with the glowing circle?
Those are hype because if you need it, freezes. That's the best.
And it feels so much.
I know. Yeah, it's super good. So are we getting to let's talk about the difficulty. Are you saying this is easier to you than the previous titles?
Significantly.
That's what I'm hearing.
100 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like night and day. I think it's the easiest of at least of the ones we've played. But the sense I have from other people's reactions as well is that this is the easiest of all of the early Mega Mans.
Wow.
And that is interesting. So they went even harder on 6, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's why. I agree with LTV.
Yeah, I'm not sure about 6. I think up to that point is sort of the context I've been reading in.
Got you.
So I don't know where 6 is.
Which makes sense. And okay, hardcore Mega Man fans, I get you're angry because you're an elitist and you don't want anyone to be able to play your games. But this is still difficult. It's not easy.
Sure.
But I think it is multiple steps back on. And even when it is difficult in design, like we said, they're giving you some lives. They're giving you some health vials. They're making it where it's not ultimately punishing.
What I noticed is, and I think this was one of y'all's critique of 3, is that the stages on 5 were much easier and the bosses were challenging. Whereas in 3, y'all were like, the stages are impossible. And it doesn't matter if the boss is hard and I can't get to him, right?
Good point.
So I do think maybe they're progressing here and just kind of learning, like, all right. And again, I think 2 is a perfect game. I think 3 is a great game. But this does feel pretty natural just in the progression of the game. Like someone picking up and just running with it as a new Mega Man player.
I will say disappearing blocks can forever rot in hell.
Well, I think that's console limitation, maybe?
No, that's a
disappearing blocks where you have to time the jumps. Yes,
the timed disappearing
gotcha.
blocks.
No, those are
it's
great.
A staple in Mega Man. No,
yeah.
But I figured out that I can get into the room, and if I move early enough, I can use Rush Jet or something to get out of there before even using them.
One more thing that I was just smiling about: secret rooms or room.
Yep.
I came across maybe 2. In the
Stone stage?
Yeah, in Stone Man stage.
Yeah.
There was a block that looked Metroid-ish and out of place, and I was like,
Yep.
Okay, shooting that, slide through it and get the collectible in the stage. Come on. Is that also
It
new?
is interesting.
I like that.
But it's weird that they only did it in that stage.
I know.
I don't think that happens again.
I don't think so either. Maybe it did, though. Maybe it didn't. That was enough, though. I liked it.
Here's one thing that was going to impress me at first, and ultimately impressed me because of the final product, but a little less once I heard the story of it. You're 5 games in. You're trying to do 8 unique movesets that fit with a boss theme, but that add variety and utility to your character and make sense in the sort of rock, papers mechanic setup that they have in terms of like who beats who. And you're trying to do that in a way that looks and feels thoughtful and new and not something you've already done in the last 4 games. That's so hard.
And you think they did that?
That's so hard, and I think they pulled it off. I don't think there were... I think some of my favorite like boss move characters were from some of the other games. Super fond of like the Snake Power and some others that I just have like fond like nostalgia for weird like childhood reasons.
The Snake one.
But I think they did a good enough job here that even though that should have been tough, I'm going to say props to them. However, when you hear the story of development, they literally were struggling with this and opened up a contest. They were like, we want to let people be involved. Send us your ideas for bosses. And then they took a bunch of community ideas and iterated on them and made them. But it worked, I think.
Okay, hold on. I don't know if they're struggling for ideas and so they reached out. I think they were trying to do a community involvement.
If they did that in 2022, they'd have Waifu Man.
Okay, but secondly, they had 130,000 submissions, so they had plenty to choose from. So then they were able to say, okay, what are some good ideas from here? Let's craft off of that. So I think that's fine.
Sure,
and
yeah, that's cool.
I think they may have done that with other Mega Man games after the fact.
Surely,
I don't know,
if they did it once, they probably did it again.
I love the idea, especially when you have to have 8 fresh ones. You can only say something man so many times. Like, you
just run out of nouns.
Well,
sometimes just aren't enough.
They've also had ones that are like the same theme. They'll just call one Lightning Man and the other one Shock Man or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's
well, even in this, like, is it Starman that has the stars around him that throws him? Like that is pretty much copy and paste from an earlier Mega Man.
For the grass.
The grass.
The grass, yeah, in Mega Man 2, I believe. Yeah, but like, and also not as good as the grass one. But overall, bosses here, I like. I like the. There are a couple in here that really stand out to me. You're probably already going to know which one I'm going to say, but Gravity Man, where
Absolutely.
you fight him upside down. There's a mechanic in the stage which I loved navigating the stage. It was a joy to navigate. Where you jump across this arrow pointing up or down, and that's now your new orientation, and all your inputs are reversed, and you fight him upside down. So I thought that was novel. I thought that was new and fun. I really liked that one.
Did you do that one on the first play?
No, I did Starman first because
Starman?
that's the suggested, or
Order.
like that's the first one you're supposed to kill.
Sure.
But I ended up killing Gravity Man with Mega Buster because I ran out. Like the Star one's not that good against him, or it's hard to control. I'll say that. And so I used Mega Buster to kill him.
I think there was a few good stage and boss designs. I was about to say I don't think any of them are flop, but
I kind of don't either.
The one that I don't know. I didn't really like the stage or the boss design of Locomotion Man. It's not what he's called. Charge Man.
Oh, the trains. The train.
Yeah. I didn't love. I mean, yes, the stage is thematic, which is fine, and you've got a few of those Koopa Troopas. What are those guys with just the hats?
Met Guards.
You've got, what are they?
Met Guards.
Met Guards. You've got them riding trains.
You also got Thomas the Tank Engine riding along on your train and shooting at you at some points.
Which is weird.
Like
okay,
trains
but
on
then,
trains.
But then the boss is a train with legs. And he like just zooms at you and gets really mad. I didn't love that one, but other than that, all of the stages, all of the boss battles, they felt good, and they felt like a real duel because they get you moving, but not. Again, other than the water one, the wave man, because he kept putting the waves up so I couldn't dash around everywhere that I wanted to go or slide around everywhere I wanted to go. I felt like it was a real duel. I was moving where I needed to go. You mentioned Gravity Man. At least his stage, he's the one where you're never fighting on the same plane as one another. If you go, or he goes up and then you fall down, and
very
he falls
dodgeable.
down and you go up.
He's learnable. That's where some Mega Man bosses aren't. And I'll admit that as a Mega Man fan, I'll admit that some of them are stupid and unfair. But these did feel learnable, and I could deal with them. I do want to say before Kenny says his favorite, I hate the Gyro Man stage. I hate the Gyro Man boss.
Really? That's the easiest one.
I don't think so.
If you use his weakness, you don't even have to fight him.
Yeah, the one that just flashes, the gravity one, where you don't even
flash.
have to touch him. Yes, which I think is a boring fight. I love the movement you're talking about, and that's why I use Mega Buster on a couple of them, just cause. But the stage was obnoxious. I hate it. I did not like Gyro Man.
I love the boss design though, because you've got low hanging clouds, so he goes up into the cloud where you can't see where he's gonna come down.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of
like
cool.
the propeller.
All right, Kenny, your favorite boss battle?
I don't know if I had a favorite. I did like the Gyro Man fight, unlike Nolan. Like, I like the concept of it more than anything. Again, the mechanic that's gimmicky it sort of made me roll my eyes, but it kind of works too. The whole idea of sort of countering that, and so I don't know. I liked that a lot. I don't know if I could even pick here. They were all really good.
You remind me of Stone Man.
Wow, he was not my favorite.
I liked his stage a lot.
Let's talk about the abilities, the weapons, because that's Mega Man's staple. We've mentioned them slightly, but we haven't really talked about them exclusively, and we don't need to talk about every single one of them, I don't think, but maybe we can just do favorite and least favorite again?
Yeah, sure. Okay, Starman is the first one that I did, and you actually get 2 power-ups from Starman. You get the star shield that you can also throw in a circle, and you also get this utility one that reminds me of Coil, that is projectile that you can stand on and just kind of skip a room if you don't like it. And I used it sometimes. I really like that you get 2, and so starting at Starman is a really smart move. I love those. It's
interesting because it's kind of your third mobility weapon.
Yes.
Like,
if you want it to be.
It's not a rush thing,
No.
but you can use it to get across stages and use it to get to higher ledges because once it strikes a wall, it's there as like a stick you can jump on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
kind of a brilliant.
It reminded me of a plunger, is what it reminded.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yes, for sure. And then my
Should've
least
just been a
favorite,
plunger.
is Gravity Man because I just think that's such a lame.
Flash.
Well, it's
Yeah,
just
I
a
get it.
flashes the screen, and it's like, okay, I took gravity away. Like Gyro Man, you're screwed. I don't know.
That's fair. Kenny?
I was gonna point out the little utility plunger, and Nolan did, so I'll move on and say that my favorite was actually something we've referenced but haven't talked about because it's one of the few things that was totally new to Mega Man 5, and that is your unlockable character besides your dog,
Oh my goodness.
Beat.
The best
OP.
best
Awesome.
addition. Oh, well, absolutely.
Do you know what they
OP, but
did?
You only
They nerfed. You can't use him at boss fights in 6 and later.
Really?
they nerfed him that hard?
Yes.
Okay,
That's
but-
annoying.
But the thing that's fair here is that you don't even get all the letters to
Right.
get him until you've beaten all the 8 bosses.
Exactly.
Right.
It's
You're
balanced.
only using him on the second half of the game, really.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good.
Powerful. Oh,
He's so
but
good.
not only is he powerful, he's adorable.
Oh yeah.
He's cute too, exactly.
Great
Everything
new
about
character.
him.
Great
He's
new
the
character.
best.
Oh, Kenny, you mentioned that like they did struggle with designing these robots, not only coming up with their names and everything, but like actually they had to come back multiple times with different art pieces. He nailed Beat on the first time. He showed it to them, and they're like, "Yep, that's it. We're bringing him in."
They're like
Yep.
somehow you beat
Done.
Coil.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Okay, so Beat, great answer. Least favorite, Kenny?
I don't know. I guess maybe Stone Man.
Fair.
Peace Stone?
Yeah.
It's just those stones that move out and then keep us moving until they leave the stage for the longest time. It's slow
I
weapon.
mean, this,
If you're
Like it
if
was
you-
fine. It just feels kind of generic to me.
that's fine, I guess.
My favorite was Crystal Eye. I loved it because it's not only a
Okay,
powerful shot,
yep.
but if you shoot it at a wall, it bursts into 3.
That's dope.
And I loved using that on the bosses, especially.
So dope.
But again, nothing beats Beat, which
Nothing
this is
beats
his first
Beat, it's
appearance
true.
in the series.
Yeah.
Also, I said that there was only one completely new thing about 5, Beat, but that's a little bit wrong. They also gave you a jet ski.
They didn't give you a jet ski.
I
And
mean, they
one
gave
of
you
the
a jet ski.
that's not one of your weapons or abilities. You've got like Mega Buster and this and a jet ski. Kenny's talking about on the water stage, halfway through, you're placed. You get to rent a jet ski temporarily, and
At least you know that's what it is.
and it changes up
it's cool.
the stage a little
That's
bit.
cool.
So that's
Nah,
one of the things
gimmick.
that
What do
It
you
was
mean?
obnoxious. It was obnoxious.
You would
The
find that
water
obnoxious
graphic
first,
gave me a headache and looked terrible. The way you had to jump backwards over enemies that were coming up at you from behind was obnoxious. I don't know. It felt gimmicky. There were other things where they tried and it was like, okay, you pulled that off and that was kind of cool. The jet ski didn't do it for me. Sorry.
before Kenny disallowed me to say my least favorite, which was extremely rude of him, and on Thanksgiving, he didn't allow me to do that. I will come back in and share my least favorite weapon. There's 2 of them. One was the napalm bomb. I didn't like that at first until I re-listened to Garlyle's episode on his podcast, What Am I Podcasting For, on this game. And he said that napalm bombs are the way to take out those big mechas. Like, you know those big, like, kind of...
The mini bosses?
Hulk-like? They're...
Yeah, they're called. I have it in my notes, and I'll find them.
These Hulk-like
Power Muscle is the
things
enemy name.
that are so annoying.
Power Muscle.
Take so many shots and jump on you and take so much health away. But if
So
you
much
use your
health away.
napalm bombs and hit them 3 times, then they're dead. So
That's nice. I didn't know that because I stick to classic. But dude, there were times when I skipped him because.
Yes!
Like, I can fight him, yes. That's fine. I'll take a hit. No, you won't. It's 1/3 of your health. It sucks.
Yes. And there's some battles where, and like it's a confined space, so like you can't really get very far from them, and they'll jump and land right on you.
you. I mean, you can try to
but-
slide and sometimes dodge it, but
They
So-
were brutal. I'm going to agree there.
That one until I learned that I could use it, and then charge
Okay.
kick. I feel like charge kick is a bad weapon.
Never.
It's not a shooting thing. It's just it changes your slide into something that does a little bit more damage.
Like melee or something.
But it's not good.
You're rarely gonna need it. Yeah.
You're not gonna need it really. Yeah. So, I heard a lot of people in reviewing 5. The general consensus seemed to be that Mega Man was getting stale at this time.
Okay.
There'd been 5 of them.
Yeah, and they all have the same formula.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They've changed something. It's probably a fair criticism. Stale is pretty harsh. There's some connotation there, but like, you've done Mega Man, and you've done it a bunch of times now.
But it's like James Bond. You can do it as many times as you want.
Okay, I like that. I like that connection.
I tend to be more in your camp of if it works and you're continuing to do a good job with it. Like, why not? I am on that side of the fence here, but I do think it's a fair criticism and wouldn't like be offended by someone that was like, it's just too much of the same at this point.
I get it, but I do think they tried to change enough or add enough in this one to set it apart. And so you have some creative stages like Gravity Stage or the Star Stage. Star Stage, that's the one you did, Nolan, where your gravity is off.
Yes.
On Star Stage, where you're jumping off the screen, being able to just launch yourself.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
You said on the Gravity Man stage where you change, like either you're walking on the ceiling or you're walking on the ground. Kenny, you hated it, but it did change the pace. The wave on getting the jet ski on the wave stage, like they're
trying. Yes, and it's working.
They're trying.
Yes.
And then not only that, I felt like there was more story elements in this one with Proto Man being the bad guy, having a Proto Man castle. Like, dude, you didn't have that before now.
Which, by the way, I have to shout that stage out and the fight. Loved that. So rewarding. The when it's like going up and crashing into the different tiers and you have to break the blocks before you land into the spikes.
Yeah, that's totally different too.
Sick. So sick.
So in my opinion, and I'm not a Mega Man aficionado, but I do think that they at least were trying to not let it be stale. They were trying to keep the same Mega Man formula, but do enough to set it apart from the others.
Aged.
Classic Mega Man, that's 1 through 11. We do count 11 now, yes. Yeah. Does have a reputation of having some of the best music on the consoles and just some of the best video game music ever. And 2 was amazing. We all loved it so much. I don't remember what y'all said about 3. I obviously loved it. Now we're back.
Good, but not as good.
Okay, good, but not as good as what y'all had said. And with 5, I listed a couple tracks that stood out to me just so I can start to defend the soundtrack because I already know y'all aren't going to like it. Crystal Man stage. And I'm saying these, go listen to it later or stop and go listen to it. It's like a fully composed piece of music. And it's chip tunes. How did they do that? Like, how did they sit there and get that much depth out of just beep noises? Amazing.
I don't have an answer for you.
No one does. It's magic. Wave Man is the second one. I thought it fit the stage theme so well. Upbeat and one of the more like hopeful tracks. I think that might be my favorite track here. Charge Man was another one, and this was very weird, but we've played Battle Network on the podcast. Y'all have played Battle Network. It felt like it was straight up from a Battle Network game. And so I love that piece of history that like the sound signature never really left the series, and I love hearing it back in the chiptune days. So I thought the music was excellent. What did you guys think?
Tell him how wrong he is.
He's not wrong. I do think he's probably overstating. I think some of the earlier games are probably still slightly better on some fronts. If nothing else, they brought a lot more like energy and hype which isn't like something you have to have, but I feel like on these games while you're playing and in that moment and like in that like going through the level, and that's the moment where you want to be moving and jumping and dodging and shooting, like that's a natural thing to put there. This didn't have quite as much of that, but that's not to say that was a mistake. I enjoyed the music overall. It was good. I do still think I have a slight preference for some of the earlier games, though.
Some of the earlier games, you mean 2? The best soundtrack of all time? Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, when you compare it to 2 that I think most Mega Man fans would agree is top 1 or 2 Mega Man soundtracks. It's... okay, Nolan. I think you're right.
You liked it?
I selected other songs as my favorite, but that's a testament to how good this soundtrack is, which is interesting because I don't know if you recall at the start of this week I messaged you or said to you that it's not impressing me as much soundtrack wise as some of the earlier games, kind of like Kenny mentioned. But the more I played and the more I listened, the more I grew to respect Mega Man. Is Mega Man, and this is what I wrote down in my notes, is Mega Man music just the height of video game music? Like, period?
Yes.
Or really, question mark?
Yes.
Is that just like, I mean, who does it better?
None that I can
for
name.
For platformers, let's just say platformers specifically, no one does it better. The music that they do, and I noticed something in this one that I hadn't noticed in previous Mega Mans, or really many other NES soundtracks. The thing I respect most about their tracks is their dedication to a bass line. They do something with their bass lines.
Yes.
We're talking about bass lines on chiptunes, by the way.
Man.
Most NES OSTs, it's a lot of letters, do not include interesting bass lines, but Mega Man does, and some of them are so good.
And what you have to also respect is that, yes, it's great chiptune music, but you'd also be able to pick it out of 100 and say that's a Mega Man song.
Mega Man.
How
definitely
do you do
has
that?
A vibe.
How?
For sure.
It's so impressive. Is it the best MMOST? Probably not.
No.
But it's certainly up there, man. I was listening to it on repeat. It's so good.
It's got to be. And I know I keep referencing like what other reviewers are saying. I looked a lot this week, and I looked on different like on GameFAQs boards of like people ranking their favorite classic Mega Man soundtracks, and 5 was almost always low.
Yeah. I wonder if it's because they really think that, or if the other ones are just so stellar, or if they just don't prefer 5 as a game compared to the other ones.
And it could be any of those. A lot of them mention that that like low on a Mega Man listing doesn't mean much.
Yes.
And I agree. Like, man, they have some of the best music. It is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
And then the graphics.
Dude,
like,
okay.
The graphics. This is NES. I do want us to remember before we get deep into the graphic conversation that this was 1992. Okay, hold on. That sounds early, but the Super Nintendo
I know.
has been out for a couple of years now.
Oh, really? For a couple of years?
It's still the same hardware, though. You're still working with the
You
limitations of
You
the
are.
NES. And people have been creative and done a great job, but most of those people were Capcom.
Yeah.
Like, this game looks good. That shouldn't be a surprise. They've always done a good job of making moves distinct, of making the characters look different from each other, of, giving variety to enemy sizes and like thought to the layouts and making the theme of the places you are look good. But that's a hard thing to do on this hardware, and again, not a surprise given the series that it's a part of, but it continued in that vein for sure here. It was well done.
And Dustin, earlier you had mentioned that some people were saying it was stale at the time of release. But when we're talking graphics here, there's charm in 5 that I didn't get from 3 and 2. Like, there is some insane detail. Like this, it's a bright.
I'll give you that.
It's a bright NES game. Like there's a lot of great coloring going on. The character models are becoming very robust and memorable. You'll see them in later titles, like the Staple Met Guard, the Power Muscle, which that one stands out to me because it's a fantastic representation of what the series was going towards. Like that character on an NES in-game, not the concept art, looks like a SNES Mega Man X enemy and looks like a Battle Network character model, like straight up. And I'm like, dude, there's so much charm to look at on the screen. I was blown away by the graphics.
I agree. On the the charm part here is harder. 2 and 3 are great, but they're a little bit boxy and a little bit.
There's older is all.
Yeah,
it's
just
older.
sort of.
They're less mature.
Sterile. Not like in bad ways. They're good games. They're sharp. They look fine. It's just a little, I don't know, early or predictable or like not as evolved. Like there's just a simplicity to them.
But even on some of the backgrounds of 2 and 3, they're nearly blank. Not all of them, but some of them are nearly blank. And this one,
bro,
gorgeous.
Stop it.
Works of art. Crystal Man stage, where you've got all of these crystal formations in the back that are glimmering and shimmering as you're moving through the stage.
Stone
Purples
Man.
and blues and whites. And yeah, so you keep referencing Stone Man.
You're just going deeper and deeper into the cave. But then you come outside and there's mountains and stuff. It's just very, very well done. It's so good.
And something that I think they weren't apologizing for, and it was just a part of it, I didn't get much here, but I did get some slowdown when there were, especially using the crystal weapon because it puts a few more projectiles on the stage. But but anytime it happens in Mega Man, I'm not sad because it gives me more time to land on things.
Yeah.
or to dodge things.
Yeah, it's like grabbing the health refill. Yeah, it just gives you.
It's
you
just
can
an
breathe
accidental.
Once.
Yeah, it's an accidental bullet time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You just use it for fine tuning instead of actually being slow down.
I don't think they were trying to work that out, the developers, and I'm glad they didn't because.
No.
I mean, in some ways, it's just that's what NES was. Like you have to have it. It feels good, kind of.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good when it works in your favor, at least.
Right.
There are obviously plenty of Mega Man games. So you've got the classics, which go through what Nolan said, 11, really, although 11 was a very recent addition.
Yes.
You've got the X series, which we have played 1 or 2 of, I think. Or no, we played the Zero series. Golly.
Which is a spin-off series.
Yeah.
There's the Legends series, which we played.
Yes,
There's the Battle Network series, which we played.
Yes.
And that's just to name a few.
Mega
there
Man
are over,
spin-offs are so good.
Hold on. How many, and we'll have Kenny go first so that you can do the one over, Nolan.
Okay.
How many Mega Man titles are there, Kenny? Go. Give me a number.
There are 42.
Nolan?
41. No, 43 I said.
Freak.
I said 43.
You did not say 43.
I think it's
There's 130.
Whoa. Are you kidding me?
There's 130.
I literally was picking that number to try and make it hard for you, Nolan. I was like, I'm going to go as high as I feel like I can get away with, that maybe he'll go under and I can like sneak it.
No.
So I'm surprised too, though I did win.
My goodness.
130.
And all of them are good. I guarantee you. They're better than like every other game out right now.
Okay, you can really easily play Mega Man 5. It's on the Mega Man Legacy Collection.
Yeah.
So you can play it along with all of the other
Switch,
classics on Switch very easily. If you want a physical copy, that is going to be a little bit more difficult for you.
Okay.
Guys, we haven't had one of these in a while.
Oh my. You want me to guess?
Used, $148.
That hurts.
New.
Okay.
Rearrange
You're looking
the
at
numbers.
one sold this week, by the way. $2,100.
Ow!
Wow.
That's not the most
This
expensive
week-
we've had.
No, not the most expensive,
But
but it's up there.
that is
Someone
up
this
there,
week
dude.
spent 2 bands on Mega Man 5 to play with
They
us.
couldn't find a used one, so they bought a new one to rip the box open and play along with us.
Oh, they're
Easy.
that dedicated. Nice.
Do you
Money
think
well
anyone-
spent.
You think anyone buys new to play it?
Not
today?
new, but several people
I
buy
don't
used in
know.
our Discord.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Final thoughts.
At the end of each and every one of our episodes, we determine whether or not the game gets our vote for New Game Plus status, which is our general thumbs up or thumbs down. It does require 2/3 of the vote to swing one way or the other. Nolan, our resident Mega Man fanboy, who also thinks Mega Man 3 is good for some reason. What did you think about Mega Man 5?
It is good. I just have in my notes, I'll kill. I think this game is actually such a standout in the classics. And We kept saying we've only played 2 and 3. I have played a lot more than that. There are a handful that I haven't in the 1 through 10 series. But 5, to me, the whole week, at every stage, every boss fight, to the end, like the big reveal, I won't spoil it. It just felt like such a step. They were already stepping in the right direction. They clearly had something that was timeless and important and just always going to be there. And that's why when Dustin said people were like saying it was still, it was like crazy to me that a reviewer would ever say that about this one in particular. It's fantastic. I'd recommend it for sure. New Game Plus.
That's one yes, Kenny.
Yeah, I think Nolan's point is a good one.
I'll
just
kill.
because something does what it's done before doesn't mean that that's necessarily a bad
Path
thing.
of Exile.
Right? Like, I'm still going to go eat
I
Chipotle anytime I want it.
Yes.
And, like, I've done that before a whole bunch.
Don't
like,
put sour cream on your burrito.
I don't. That's gross. I would never.
Are y'all
ruin a
crazy?
burrito
You have to.
with sour cream. No. Gross.
Okay.
We'll have that conversation off air. I'll kill. But just because something does what is known doesn't mean it's a bad thing, and that's what this is. It's more of the same, but like delicious and filling and so yummy. And so that's as far as I'm going to take that analogy, or I'm going to get hungry. Really, the only complaint Dustin and I both had, and we don't need to compare forever about it, but with 3 was the difficulty. And this game does not have that at the level of being a burden that 3 had. It is on a lot of ways more forgiving, and on all the other fronts it excels. Yeah, there's a few things that felt gimmicky. There's a few places I felt like they missed it a little bit.
You already said no, it's not.
But it's a stellar game. Absolutely New Game Plus for me.
Correct.
Real fun one. Go play it.
All right.
Well, that's 2 yes, so you can relax and rest while I bash
Yeah, right.
this game.
Yeah, right.
Mega Man 5, I started it scared because of my Mega Man 3 Legacy experience, and because I know Mega Man games are hard, and I'm a good gamer, but when the games are fighting against you and don't want you to succeed, that's where the fun is removed. And that didn't happen here. This game was hard, but manageable. And once and I'm always going to play a classic Mega Man game first with save states, but I came through after beating it with save states this week.
I'm so happy.
And beat it again without save states.
I'm so happy.
I love that.
Dude,
And
I'm so happy. They give you the progression, the save.
No, I surprisingly fell so hard for this game by the end of the week that like this right now is my favorite classic Mega Man.
Oh my.
Better than 2 for you?
I can't argue.
It is for sure. Now hold on.
I can't go that far.
It
No, I
is
know
for
what he's
sure
saying,
better
though. I
than
know what he's
2
saying.
in so many ways, while 2 being better in so many ways. 2 is better musically. It has the better soundtrack.
This one made you feel like a Mega Man master.
But this one, I got it. And I was
Yes.
sliding under the things I needed to slide under, and I was jumping across what I needed to jump across, and I was using my abilities at the right time.
Man.
And none of the bosses felt unfair because they had manageable patterns, and if you were using especially their weakness weapon against them, they would go down pretty easily. And I became, a Mega Man master this week.
It's a Thanksgiving miracle.
And that Charge Buster?
Oh.
I don't want to play 2 without a Charge Buster.
Charge Buster.
The charge up
The
is
Mega Buster.
great.
It
It's
changes
so
the
good.
game. And Kenny, you kind of, I think it sounded like early on you scoffed at the radius is a little bit bigger in this one than in 4. I think that is big.
Yeah.
Like
It's
it
important.
made a difference
Yeah.
being a larger burst.
Yeah.
And everything here just felt so fine-tuned. Sure, some of the weapons aren't as good as 2. Some of the tracks aren't as good as
Right.
2. But I think overall the handling and the gameplay and the slide and the and everything, it just felt better.
Yes!
And I love Mega Man 5. Love it.
I am happy, man.
So that means 3 of us give our vote as an affirmative, meaning Mega Man 5 is New Game Plus certified. But for now, we're going to set aside Mega Man 5, and we are not going to randomly select this week. Again,
Oh my
Nolan.
goodness.
But it's for good reason. Hey, last time we didn't. We got Resident Evil 4.
Oh, yes, we did. Okay, I'm excited.
This time, our director guest is Daniel. And Daniel is bringing a game to us called... called a 1994 game.
That's the name of it.
It's not. I just couldn't go into the title immediately because that's not what we do around here.
Okay, good segue, good save.
It's an RPG.
Okay.
You're
Super Nintendo?
probably.
On the Super Nintendo
Okay.
by Square.
We've played them all.
We have not.
We've played them all.
If Resident Evil 4 then was for Nolan, then Daniel's submission might be for me. And
I don't think it's
can
Final
you-
Fantasy.
It was
I think it's for
widely
you.
It is widely considered to be one of the greatest video games of all time.
Oh, I think I know what
It
it is.
is the 6th installment in the series. Daniel is bringing to the podcast for the very first time Final Fantasy VI.
I don't know why I thought we had played this one.
We have not.
Nope.
I have played
Not
it
only-
before.
Yeah, not only have we
yes.
not, I have not.
Oh, that's fun. Because Dustin and I have played
Ever.
it for sure. I'm so happy
know-
that he hasn't played it.
I know of it a little bit,
I don't think you
but
know
I
it,
get to
though.
go into this one pretty blind and just like experience.
I know Dustin is
So-
shocked.
Be jealous.
Oh my god.
No, that's great.
Be jealous.
That's great that one of us is going to have that experience because we're going to love revisiting it, but I'm excited to hear your take, and it better be good.
Wow. So find a copy of Final Fantasy VI and play it along with us and Daniel this week.
Join us in Discord. Discord.gg/newgameplus.
Well said.
Hey.
A big thank you to all of you. I know we've said it, but Thanksgiving this week, and we just want to especially let you know how much gratitude we have for our wonderful community. So for those of you who go above and beyond and support us in continuing to make your favorite retro gaming podcast, here's to you, including our producer level supporters: Adam, Alex, Marley, Anton, Ben, Brunt, Dan, DH Bowser, Ellis, Francesca, Gimbin, Jared, Joey, Jordan, J. Robert, Justin, Clint, Nicknack, Corey, Lawe86, Maxima, Mr. Latte, Sage and Shauna, Subsonic Demon, Thomas, Unbelievable, William, and Zion. A huge thank you to our director level supporters: Bro Jim, Garlisle, Shane, The Tasty Yogurt, Super Hypered, Daniel, hey, coming up, and Brunt. You guys are the best. We are grateful for you and hope that you continue to be who you are. Y'all are so distracted.
Are you okay? Are you okay
I know
over
people
there?
listen to this and it's an audio podcast first.
Don't
but
blame it on
every
us.
I wasn't
time-
doing anything.
Every time
Prove it.
they
We're sitting
try
there.
and ruin my life.
Listening quietly.
They're not thankful for
he was
people.
slowing
is what
down
it
his
is.
speech,
On-
trying to see what you
This
were
is a
holding.
week of non-gratitude for
On
our
thanks-
selfish hosts.
On Thanksgiving week, we are especially and eternally gratified by you. All right, you can follow us on our social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube. All of those links are in the notes. Listen directly on any podcast provider of your choice. Make sure you subscribe so that you are the first to get new NGP episodes. And while you're at it, please leave a kind rating and review. Our video episode was edited by our friend Dylan. Our audio episode was edited and produced by our friend Dan Willett. Join us next week as we play Final Fantasy VI.
That's I can't believe
Wow.
that actually.
That's one of the biggest things I've ever said. Until then, I'm still beat.
I'm still elucidating.
I'm still beat.
And this has been New Game Plus.